Dear students, today we are going to see a very important topic in women's writing, a vindication of the rights of women by Mary Wollstonecraft. This is the image of Mary Wollstonecraft, who was born in 1759 and died in 1797. Let's know about the author. Mary Wollstonecraft was an English writer, intellectual, and solicitor of women's rights and education. She is regarded as one of the founding feminist philosophers. She demonstrated her willingness to challenge social norms. Her father Edward was abusive to his wife Elizabeth, so Wollstonecraft was always trying to protect and comfort her mother. She played a maternal role for her sisters. This youthful experience influenced her later writings. Her unconventional personal relationships received more attention. She had two ill-fated affairs, one with Henry Fuseli and the other with Gilbert Imlay. Wollstonecraft pursued a relationship with the artist Henry Fuseli. After Fuseli's rejection, she traveled to France to escape humiliation. She met Gilbert Imlay and fell passionately in love with him, who is an American adventurer. She gave birth to her first child, Fanny. Imlay, unhappy with the domestic minded and maternal Wollstonecraft, eventually left her. Her letters to Imlay explain a foreign woman alone with an infant in the middle of a revolution. Imlay rejected her and she attempted suicide 2 times. Gradually, Wollstonecraft returned to her literary life. Two friendships shaped Wollstonecraft's early life. The first was with Jane Austen and the second was with Fanny Blood. Fanny Blood was more interested in traditional feminine values. Wollstonecraft, her sisters, and Fanny Blood set up a school together. Blood's death devastated Wollstonecraft. She decided to embark upon a career as an author. She learned French and German and translated texts. Wollstonecraft married the philosopher William Godwin. Their marriage revealed the fact that she had never been married to Imlay. Their marriage was on 29th March 1797 and theirs was a very happy and stable married life, but it was brief. On 30th August 1797, Wollstonecraft gave birth to her second daughter Mary and she became infected with childbed fever, and because of that she died on 10th September 1797. When she died, her age was 38. And when she died, she left behind several unfinished manuscripts. Her husband Godwin has written like this: I can now ever know happiness again. She is generally recognized as a feminist, but her deepest concern was for the rights and freedom of all human beings. With the emergence of the feminist movement, Wollstonecraft's advocacy has become increasingly important. Her best known work was A Vindication of the Rights of Women, written in 1792. Let's have a brief summary of what she has written in A Vindication of the Rights of a Woman. She begins this prose with an idea that only reasoning ability makes the human beings superior to the other creation, and virtue exalts one being above the other. Since reasoning and virtue exalt a human being, how can discrimination be made based on gender? Men argue that women do not have required mental strength and so they need the guidance of men. Wollstonecraft's answer is women have souls and they have the same rational power. Men want women to be kept innocent like children and expect them to be taught the skills pleasing their husbands. Wollstonecraft wants women to think for themselves. She blames a male writer, Rousseau, for instructing women to follow the guidance of men as they are perfectly rational. He wants education to make women as weak and passive as possible so that they can please their husbands. He insists that boys and girls are different from their young age and women should resist all their desires. Rousseau advises all men to be aggressive and commanding with their wives. Then only they can have a control on their wives. Wollstonecraft disapproves all these ideas of Rousseau. Wollstonecraft critiques the work of Dr. Gregory, who has instructed his daughters to hide their emotions. In fact, in his book, he has written how the daughters should be taught to dress themselves. So their aim should be only to please the men. So he has remarked that women's purpose in life ends the moment she gets married and has children. Wollstonecraft insists that if women are given equal education, they can accomplish more. Then life never ends with marriage. Dr. Gregory advises women to hide their knowledge because they should never make a man feel like as she knows more than him. Wollstonecraft wants women to be as smart as possible and reveal their smartness to the world. Her next target is Dr. Fordyce, who expects women to be as angelic as possible when praying to God. To Wollstonecraft, this is a huge insult not only to religion but also to God because women's minds should be on God when they are praying, not on how good they look to other people. Women must not depend on men for their food and shelter. They must be able to provide it for themselves, and this is possible only if they are educated. Women would probably be more affectionate if they were given more independence. So, men have to remove the chains which they have made on women so that they will be more affectionate. She believes that a good marriage is more like friendship than romance. If women are educated, they could have better conversations with their husbands and could give a better education to their children. Some women are proud of their physical weakness and delicacy. So here Wollstonecraft says that it is an empty sense of pride. She wants all women to develop their mind and body together. So not only their body, but their mind should also be strong. Women should not be oppressed by men as the kings oppress common men. Women cannot take care of her children when her husband dies unless she has good education. Men want women to look good, but they do not want them to think too much. They encourage women for appearance more than their moral goodness. So only women in those days they were very particular about their appearance. According to Wollstonecraft, parents should not behave like tyrants, demanding blind obedience. So, here in this part of the essay, she has given her own ideas regarding the relationship between parents and children. There has to be a good relationship between parents so that the children learn how to treat others properly. So, the parents should be a role model to the children so they will reflect the same relationship with others also. Many parents are not willing to earn their children's respect, they only demand, and this creates a model of tyrannical authority that will poison a child's thinking for the rest of its life. Wollstonecraft blames bad parents for a lot of bad that exists in the world. Parents should calmly sit with their children and explain them why they should follow the parents' advice until they have the ability to judge for themselves. So, children cannot be given total freedom when they are young and they are unable to make judgment. So, in this case, they have to rely on their parents. Then she has expressed her views on national education also. She firmly believes that the government should create some sort of public school system where children from all walks of life come together and learn. Wollstonecraft disapproves private schools and homeschooling because the children will not be able to mingle with others. So she prefers government school system, that is public school system. She does not want the children to be taught memorizing. A true public school system would focus on the how of knowing, not the what of knowing. Wollstonecraft wishes that boys and girls should attend the same schools to socialize them together from a young age. So the boys will be able to understand the difficulties or the psychology of girls. So she is advocating co-education system. If the students do something wrong, they will have to be put on trial in front of a jury made up of other students. Mary Wollstonecraft, though she is advocating women's education in this prose, she never fails to point out the folly generated in women because of their ignorance. So, here also she stresses the need of education to remove these faults in women. Wollstonecraft directly accuses women of being the cause of their own oppression because So many of them try to gain an advantage in life by acting as ladylike as possible. So they find delight in behaving in a very delicate way. Some people are influenced by the romantic novels they read. They expect their lives to be as described in the romantic novels. Women are often compassionate towards people who don't deserve it, so they easily get cheated. Some women feel that their beauty is their power, so they want to give much importance to their appearance. Young women spoil their reputations by having sex before marriage, and this spoils their reputation. They feel as if they are in heaven as soon as man starts complimenting them. So, in closing, Wollstonecraft says that she has no interest in excusing the faults of women. She simply thinks that these faults wouldn't be so bad if women were given a better education and a more equal place in society.